Thank you, Pastor Rob. I grew up in a Spanish congregational church, but when I saw both my brothers walk away from the church, I followed their footsteps. I rebelled against my parents at a young age. I was exposed to drugs, gangs, and violence, and was easily influenced to join the gangs in my neighborhood. I would ditch school, shoplift, and get into fights at school. I was a mean and angry kid, and I thought my life was heading in the direction of gangbanging. I ended up getting in trouble a lot, and I was sent away to an at-risk boys program. At the program, I began to shape up. One of the activities they had us do was hike a mountain that was 5,000 foot above elevation, carrying a 40-pound backpack with us as a way to challenge us. I felt a sense of accomplishment after I climbed those mountains. I became disciplined and took in all the life lessons the staff and the program had to offer. I felt loved and accepted and was motivated to be a better son. This experience motivated me to walk away from the gangs and change my friends, and I found ways to avoid trouble in high school. I followed my brother Eddie's footsteps and joined the wrestling team. Right there is where I ran into my high school coaches, Doug Silva and Corey Costanza, who were also Christian coaches, and they began planting seeds to help me know Christ. I wrestled varsity my freshman year and discovered that I had an athletic gift and ability. The summer of 2011, my coach sent me to a sports camp called the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at UCLA. There were 700 athletes at the camp. I was put into a huddle with 10 other wrestlers and a counselor. We had 2 practices a day, and we had an Olympic gold medalist share with us about Jesus, what he did for us, and how he decided to have a relationship with us. On the last day of camp, I heard about God's grace and love, and how Jesus died for me, and how he rose from the dead. But most important, what it meant for me. It meant for a chance to be forgiven and receive God's grace covering my sins. I responded to the gospel invitation at age 15 and asked Jesus to enter into my life. At the camp, I realized I changed and entered into a journey with God. I realized my life and athletic ability should be used to glorify God. After the summer, I got baptized at a local church, went back to Santa Maria High School, and was encouraged by my coach to help lead the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Club on campus. I got uncomfortable because I was still a shy kid who never spoke about anything. But luckily, I had a mentor named Luke Lamas who trained me and encouraged me to grow in my faith. I started leading the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Club at Santa Maria High School. Every Thursday, students would gather at a classroom, eat pizza, and share the testimony or message about Jesus. We even had coaches and teachers share the relationship about God to the students. My friends and teammates began to know about God, and many of them accepted Christ into their life. I even began to share my faith with one of my 2 older brothers who later accepted Christ as well and now serves in Young Life Ministry. I did well in wrestling. I was a high school ranked athlete. I was coached by my brother, became a CI finalist, a Masters medalist, and qualified to wrestle in the state tournament. I accepted an invitation to attend Cuesta College, where I wrestled, and where I earned the starting spot my first year. That same year, our team became conference champions, and I was part of the all-academic team. But in college, there was a lot of temptations to party and have a good time. I made some bad choices I'm not proud of. I met challenges that I couldn't overcome. I had a suicidal roommate, and I ended up being evicted from my apartment. I was ashamed to tell my parents, but my parents welcomed me back with their open arms and love. Romans 8:28 says, "We know that all things work together for those who love God, those who are called according to His purpose." But God made my weakness turn into strength because while all this was happening, my youngest brother was having struggles of his own. He was exposed to the drugs and gangs at his school, and I felt like my past was catching up to my youngest brother. But I saw a reason why God called me back. I, I became motivated to be an example for him. I was determined to be more of an influence in his life than the gangs out there. I held him accountable to attend Gen Church more often. While I was commuting back and forth to attend classes, one of the Gen Church leaders was generous to pick him up and drop him off home. I'm thankful for him. I saw God place mentors into my brother's life, and when he went to encounter with Gen Church, I remember him calling me on the last night to tell me he accepted Christ into his life. My heart was filled with joy, and I was excited to see my youngest brother walk with God. The summer of 2015, God opened another opportunity where I accepted a job offer from the camp I attended when I was a trouble kid. They hired me as a camp counselor, and I got the chance to live in the Sequoia Wilderness for several weeks. That's where God entrusted me to love on multiple kids from various counties in Southern California. I got the opportunity to train other counselors and counsel kids ages 12 to 15 that came from low-income, disadvantaged backgrounds. These kids came from drug and gang influence, came from broken homes, and neglected parents. They had every reason to be mad at the world, but I knew God placed me in their lives for a reason. The job was not easy. I had to train and prepare them to go on a 6-day backpacking trip with me. I often broke up fights and encouraged them to not give up during the hike. But because of this journey, I saw these boys who tried acting hard and tough enjoy themselves. I began seeing their smiles and laughter. I saw them enjoying being a kid again as they played in the cold stream rivers, gained a sense of fulfillment, reconquering the mountains we climbed, became in awe as they slept underneath the stars, and throughout time I saw them accept each other and accept themselves. It didn't matter anymore what neighborhood they came from, what the color their skin was, or what society stigmatized them. I saw them changing. But what I felt most important was seeing these young men let go of the hurt and neglection from their past and broken families, and a spark of hope began to form in these boys. They began to believe that they can be somebody in this life, that they can change their families, change their communities, and change the world. They're going to be world leaders one day, and seeing this brought peace to my heart. This experience had a profound effect on me. I went back to start my second year of college. I changed my major and decided to pursue a career in teaching, wanting to work with kids. It's been more than a year now that my brothers and I found Church for Life, where we began to learn how to serve. We saw God work through us as we began fellowshipping together as a family. We found a sense of community, and I saw our youngest brother come to Christ. I thank the Lord and Church for Life for the impact it has on my family and for encouraging us to grow and serve inside and outside the church. Thank you.